Oh, we're back. We're back, guys. The mics were muted when we came in, so you didn't hear my absurd start to an absurd show.
I think you could kind of hear a little bit of it.
Yeah, it was cute.
It was good. I like it. It's different. No one will expect it. People will expect actual voices to come in, and instead that's going to happen. And people will be like, whoa, this podcast's crazy.
All right, well, me and Eric, we have to start by telling you about something that we're actually pretty worried about this week. We're worried because we've won our first 3 games of the season so far. We have done, well, I guess it's actually like 4 since we've done
we're doing
2 podcasts.
Lots of.
But we're worried now because we've been getting a lot of calls. And now that the actual refs are back, I'm kind of afraid we're not going to get the calls anymore, and then we're going to start losing games. What do you think, Eric?
I think it's possible. That mess up right there, that's going to cost us.
Yeah, it is. Shenanigan. Well, no. That's touchdown.
Oh, nice.
I was holding the mics.
There it is.
Holding.
There it is. So, yeah, here we are. It's a podcast. It is Thursday.
Yep.
My name is Eric.
My name is Sean.
That guy's name over there is Lane. No one can see him, but he's over there. Believe me.
He's handsome. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Oh, there he isn't.
I
have to lean out of the camera into the mic.
Why don't you put your mic in a good spot?
But then I can be in there. I'll fix it off screen.
All right, cool.
He's our producer. We are the experts.
Emphasis on the
Are we experts?
Producer. Oh.
Is that what we
experts.
I don't know if that's...
I'd like to consider myself an expert at guessing on fantasy questions.
You guess?
I take an expert approach at guessing.
How do you get? I read the future.
You read the future.
Yeah, I have ESPN, and so I can read.
You did it, Eric. You did it.
And you weren't ready for it.
That was a pretty good joke. I liked it.
Spot on.
Spot on. And so you can tweet your questions at us. We do a live show on Justin TV. You can chat in there and ask us questions, and you can also tweet at us at Fantasy Top 5 and ask us questions. You can go to our website, which is a real website at fantasytop5.com.
It's not fake.
I don't know why.
In case you have problems with running into really fake websites, it's not one of those.
It's real.
Oh, that was awesome.
I don't know what I meant by that. It's not a GeoCities account. And it's spelled out Fantasy Top 5. We also have a Tumblr. We have a lot of stuff going on. I feel like we have way too much stuff.
Yeah, we're all over the place. But it's good because we get lots of questions.
We do. And that's what we want to do. We want to help you guys win your leagues by using ESPN and really expert guesses.
Some solid guesses, yeah.
To win your league. So we can go ahead and get this started. We'll start out with the newses and bruises. With the number 1 news story, which we hinted at when we were joking earlier. The real refs are back for tonight's game.
Yeah, I think that's pretty impressive. That
it was quick. That was really fast.
There's one blown call, and then all of a sudden, 36 hours later, Goodell's apologizing, and the refs are back. They're like, we're not even close. We're back. We're back.
It was all over. I mean, I turned on SportsCenter just to listen, and I mean, they would talk about one other news story and then cut it short to quickly talk about this again.
Which is insane.
And people on there, I mean, there was one guy who said, yeah, I think I give it 72 hours and they'll have it fixed. And I think everyone else thought it was going to be still 3 weeks, but I think that much exposure, I think, is quite a big deal. If people don't know what it is, that's actually my number 2 news story. Monday night game, the Seahawks are down, what was it, 7-12?
Yeah, 7-12.
And the Seahawks are down. They have one last play. Wilson throws it up in the end zone, and both Tate and MD Jennings both look like they may have came down with it. They kind of run over. One signals an interception, one signals a touchdown. They review it, and they say it's a touchdown. And pretty much anybody who looked at it would say that it was an interception. I still think it was pretty close.
It was close. No matter who the refs are, it had to have been closer than just an automatic interception, or they would have just said automatic interception. And that's the thing, is Tate got in there and Tate fought for it, which is what you're taught to do. You're taught not to give up. I think in his head, to an extent, he thought he had the ball. Mm-hmm. And if Jennings really had it that much, and I got in an argument with my little brother about this because he's a huge Packers fan. I'm like, if you have it that much, roll off of him. roll
He
away.
kind of tried later, but
And here's the other thing that no one is talking about. Go rewatch the play. If you see it, right as Wilson goes to throw the ball, they keep talking about the pass interference.
Yeah, they
That
do.
was
That's
blatant
another
pass
big-
interference, but they do not call that. I've been watching football for years. They do not call pass interference on that last
on
thing.
a Hail Mary.
Offensive or defensive, they do not call it. But here's the thing. Wilson releases the ball. The Packers guy that's chasing him takes 2 more steps and lays him out. That could have easily been roughing the passer there. There was 5 missed calls on that play alone. And that's the point, is it happened. If the Packers are as good as everyone thinks the Packers are, starting 2-1 isn't that, or 1-2 isn't that big a deal. They'll bounce back. Everyone played with the same refs. Everyone got the same shitty calls. That's just how it is.
Yeah, and there were
it needs
quite a
to
few
end now.
games.
The other refs are back. This is what it took. If it would have been any other team other than the Packers, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. It would have been, there's the Packers, there's the Patriots, and that's it. If it was
That's
any
the
other
thing
team,
is-
it wouldn't have mattered.
There were quite a few games where it seemed like the one team was getting screwed over, and then by the time it ended, it was actually the other team. So, I mean, it happened quite a bit. I think that the Ravens-Patriots game, I was like, everyone was like, the Ravens are getting screwed over. And then by the time it ended, everyone's like, the Patriots got screwed over. So it's
Yeah,
like,
it was insane.
that's how almost every game was. Calls were going both ways. But I definitely think, the one thing about it is Tumblr was hilarious. I don't know if anybody went on Tumblr. I reblogged a few of but it was just funny post after funny post about, my favorite one was Favre. Shows a picture of Favre and he's like, interceptions or touchdowns now? I'm coming back to football. That was by far my favorite, because I just pictured him coming back and just every interception he threw being a touchdown. Hilarious. That was my favorite thing. About anything else, every single, I mean, there were ones like with Drew Carey, and it would say, welcome to the NFL, where the calls are made up and the scores don't matter. Whose ball is it anyway? And so there were lots of stuff like that. But anyways, the refs are back. I still think, I mean, what do you think? How many calls are they going to miss? I mean, they miss calls every...
The difference is, and I've been saying this from the beginning, the difference is, it's not that the replacement refs were that much worse. It's that the actual refs will not get questioned. The replacement refs were questioned on everything. And the replacement refs...
They got worse and worse. I think
Yeah.
if they'd let it go another week or two, I think there would have been riots.
Yeah, and they expected
People
to...
would be dead.
Yeah, I don't know how many people would have died, but...
I think the NFL would be over. We'd be out of job.
Yeah, well,
This
that's the
isn't
thing
really
is,
a job,
I was
actually,
talking
but
about how the Packers...
We wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, I was talking about
There's
how...
no NFL. What can we do? We can't really... We can make up stuff.
Yeah, we really could.
Anyways, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, like I was saying, it was such a big deal because it was the Packers, but on the other end, it would have been a much smaller, bigger deal if it was like, imagine if it was the Raiders and that play happened and the Raiders had lost because of it. The whole city of Oakland spreading into the rest of the Bay Area would all be on fire right now. It would not be in control at all.
That's why I think they had to hurry and get it done, because I think they were kind of getting worried that, it was getting out of hand and there was nothing you could do. I mean, they were fining people. They fined Belichick and for all these things, but I still think there was not a whole lot you can do once it starts to get out of hand, except go ahead and bring everything back. So we'll go ahead and move on. News story number 3. Veteran running back Ryan Grant signed with the Washington Redskins, which it's a pretty big news story. I mean, he's been in the league a long time.
He hasn't been, I wouldn't say he's been good in a while, but
A lot of people in fantasy are worried about him, just because Alfred Morris has been doing so well, and I think a lot of people are kind of worried. But I don't think he's going to be taking away. I think you can go ahead and play Morris. I think he was kind of set to replace my next news story, which is Beanie Wells and Roy Halou. Hulu was placed on IR. So
yeah, which that's the only reason he was brought in is because Halou was put on IR. I don't think it means anything to Alfred Morris now.
I think he will be the backup, and unless something happens, I think you're pretty safe. Unless Ryan Grant just goes off and just has a ridiculous game, or Alfred Morris fumbles 8 times.
Yeah, but that's the thing is I don't think
In a
Grant
game.
won't get the opportunity to
Could.
have a big game. So I think Morris is fine.
I do too. The next news story, Beanie Wells and Roy Halou are both placed on IR. I don't think it's really that big of fantasy news. I mean, I put it in here because that's
It makes
Pretty big.
a Ryan Williams whose stock was rising rise a little bit more. But other than that, I don't think it's huge. The Cardinals haven't been great at the run yet, so it's kind of if you were high on Ryan Williams, you probably already picked him up. If not, and you're in a pretty small league, you can maybe still get him. It's
Yeah, and I've
not huge.
kind of said for a while, yeah, he's not really that big of a deal. And our last news story, which is more news than fantasy, but the league gives Broncos Mays 1 game ban for the hit on Shaw, which I don't know if anybody saw it, but he lost part of his ear. It was pretty disgusting. They kept showing it, and I'm like,
and it wasn't
grossing me out.
It wasn't accidental
oh no, he hit
thing.
him hard.
Like and that's the thing is none of the hits are accidental, but he went in, I think, with the intent to hurt. They were getting their asses handed to him basically, and he went in to get him, and he did, and now he's not going to be playing, which is good for the Raiders this weekend.
And I'm glad they did it. As much as people talk about that fantasy hard hits, that's part of it. I see stuff like that, and it just I don't know. I guess I kind of put myself in their shoes, and when that looked like it was so painful, and then the fact that part of his ear is gone, it's pretty brutal. His helmet came flying off. So yeah, there's the news. We'll go ahead and do bruises. Fred Jackson with his sprained knee. He's been practicing all week. Had a full practice today. Looks set to return. I picked him up. I think I'm going to play him just because I've had some troubles in one league with running backs. Last year he had an incredible game against New England. So if you need someone in that position, I'm going to start him, but I don't know what I'm going to expect out of him. I'm a little nervous, but I think C.J. Spiller, he wants to play, but I don't know if he will. Number 2 is Matt Stafford with the glute hamstring pull. We talked about him on Monday, but it looks like it was more his glute than his hamstring. He practiced today, didn't practice yesterday, but still looks like he's going to start. The one issue is that they have a bye week next week. So if it looks like anything's going on, they may pull him early. Hill played really well for him last week, and they may do that just to kind of be safe. So if you have Stafford, I would hold off on playing him if you have anyone better.
Which, in a lot of cases, if you're in a league that's past 10 or 12, like you probably don't have Stafford and someone else that's good enough to play over him, so you might have to roll the dice on it.
Yeah, but it looks like he will play, so that's at least a good sign. Number 3, Willis McGahee with his rib cartilage tear. It looks like he really wants to play, which sometimes can be more than the actual injury. If they want to get out there, sometimes they can.
Especially
at AP.
with McGahee. McGahee's crazy like that.
Yeah, and so he practiced today. He was saying he was limited yesterday, but he said that he may just wear some protection because I guess he did get hit yesterday and it was quite painful, but he does also want to come back. So if you have him, you may be able to play him just based off the fact that he really wants to get out there. So and I think it's a pretty decent matchup against Oakland.
Yeah, their run defense is definitely their defense as a whole has definitely looked better, and
yeah, it's not a great matchup. It's not like Oakland
but
has the
McGahee
worst.
he's tough, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see him out there, but I also wouldn't be surprised if you see him leave.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's where I'm at. I have all these running backs, and they're all injured, and I don't know if I want to play any of them. So it's going to be a tough decision. Number 4 is Macklin with his hip injury. Practiced yesterday. He will be back. Looks good. If you have him, start him. I wouldn't even worry about it. Go ahead and play him. And number 5 is C.J. Spiller, the other Buffalo running back with his shoulder sprain. He practiced today, but just participated in individual drills, so he didn't actually get out there and play at all. I don't think he'll be back. It's another one where he really wants to be, and it makes sense because Fred Jackson could come back and look really good. But I don't think he will. But I don't know. Definitely keep an eye on it. I think he's the one out of most that it's kind of really up in the air right now. So there we go. Newses and bruises.
well done, sir. All right, and now we're going to move over to my top 5 drop-offs and bounce backs. And I'm just going to jump into it. The first drop-off I have this week is Santonio Holmes against the 49ers defense. Holmes had 9 catches last week for 147 yards, and he looked really good out there. He looked kind of like old Santonio Holmes, but I don't think he's going to get the same chances against the 49ers. 49ers defense is a good defense, despite what you all saw against Minnesota last week.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, and that Jets offense hasn't looked great, and I don't think they're going to get in the position to look great with their defense is going to obviously go down because of the Revis injury. So, and then another thing with Holmes is he's proven to be inconsistent as a fantasy option over the years.
Yeah.
If he has a hard first quarter, he'll disappear for the rest of the game. So I wouldn't expect that out of him again this week. All right, number 2, we're going to jump over to Andre Brown, who's going up against a tough
He's
Eagles
a good one. A
defense.
lot of people are wondering whether they should start him or not. So.
And it's hard because Bradshaw looks like he could very easily be coming back this week.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be.
Yeah, and
So
Andre
I didn't put him in the bruises, but
Andre Brown, he looked really great last week against the Panthers, but the Panthers defense they look terrible.
yeah,
And I don't think the Eagles are going to make it easy on him. But I do think Andre Brown will get his chances in the future. But I think he's just not going to have the same game he had last week, so don't expect that.
nice.
All right, and then number 3, we're going to move over to Jake Locker against the Texans defense. And it's nothing against Locker. It's just the Texans defense has looked great this year and then last year, and they just have stayed consistent. Like, they aren't letting anyone do great against them. And everyone's talking about Peyton Manning kind of racked up some yards last week against them.
At the end, it was.
But it's kind of like that happens in garbage time a lot of times. Like, people will just get yards. It's like last year when everyone was like, Green Bay's defense is awful, and it was really just only okay at times because when you're scoring a lot of points, the other team is going to have the ball a lot, and you get some yards no matter
Yeah, and that's
what.
what happened. I mean, if you look up to the third quarter, Peyton Manning didn't have anything. So
Yeah.
they were still a really good defense.
Yep. So, yeah, Locker, I wouldn't start him against the Texans defense unless you have to. And then this one's kind of one that people are going to be like, really? Really, you're going to pull this? But I'm going to go ahead and say RG3
Really?
isn't going to.
Really? You're going to pull this? That's what you're going to
I like that. But RG3, I don't know what it is. I have a feeling about the Buccaneers defense right now. They made Romo and the Cowboys look like crap last week. And I think they're going to be the team to shut down RG3 this week. And so I think this is going to be his first week where he's out of the top 5 fantasy
I don't know. I think
quarterbacks.
he's starting to. I mean, I think he started out really good, but he's kind of
still
looking
the
a little
number one.
rattled, and he's still kind of. And I think he'll start to come back down to earth a little bit. I think he's still a legitimate starter, but
Yeah, I think before too long,
it's
I
kind
think
of a
he
bold
might,
one. It's bold.
Yeah, but he might fall into Vic territory because he's starting to try to make everything happen on his own, especially with Garcon being Garcon, and who knows when he'll play. Like,
Yeah.
and he
That's
got
another
hit
one he
a
wants to
lot
come
last
back.
week, and he doesn't love it. The week before, he got hit a lot against the Rams and came
Yeah.
out and said that they're dirty because they hit him. And I know it's a little bit different than college. It's still kind of basically the same game, but I assumed in college you still get tackled. I don't know if they just play touch in college, but RG3 should know that on the pro level you're going to get hit, so you shouldn't complain about it.
Well, that's what I think. I think it's just kind of. I think it's kind of making him a little nervous, and I think it is going to kind of. I think he's going to start making some mistakes now. I think he's going to start throwing some interceptions and stuff because he doesn't want to get hit. And I can definitely see where you're coming from, even though I do feel like it is a really bold.
Yeah,
statement.
I just have a feeling about it. I hope it. Well, I don't hope that he does bad, but I just think he's going to do bad.
But now that you said it, you hope he does.
Well, yeah, I don't want to look like an idiot. But all right, and then number 5, I put. This is also maybe kind of bold. I don't think as bold, but I put Eli Manning against the Eagles defense. Like, Eli has looked great this year. He's the number 1. He has the most passing yards, but he does have the tendency to mess up. And I don't know. I don't think he's going to have the flawless game he had against the Panthers. Like I said before, the Eagles have a really good defense. And a lot of this is hanging on if Nix plays or not. Like, I think Nix can maybe get some big plays against the Eagles. But if Nix doesn't play, it makes Cruz the number 1 option. They double-team Cruz. Cruz doesn't get a lot of production. And I think the other guys there will still do okay, but I don't think they're going to just go in there and fill in and do perfect like they did against the Panthers. Like the Panthers defense and the Eagles defense, it's a completely different defense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so
I can see that. I can see
yeah.
how they're different.
And it's
they're
also
not the exact
it's-
same.
Yeah, it's also a rivalry game, so I think it's gonna be messy, and I think it's gonna be a good game, but I think it's gonna be messy. All right, and then now for the positive portion, I'm gonna move over to the bounce backs. The bounce backs we have on my number one is 49ers defense against the Jets. The Jets less than great offense.
That's a good one.
The Jets are the Jets. They haven't looked. They've won 2 out of their 3 games, but they have. The Dolphins literally had to force that. They're like, here, take this win. They're like, no, I don't want it. No, take it, take it. No, I don't want it. Like it was ridiculous watching how hard the Jets had to suck to still win that game. Like it was ridiculous, and I think that's going to show up against the 49ers. I think the 49ers are just going to destroy them on Sunday, and I think they're also going to be pissed after the Vikings made them look like idiots last week.
That's true.
So I would, if you have anyone on the Jets, especially Sean Green, I wouldn't play him.
I don't know. I think Tebow's going to come in and light up the 49ers defense.
Yeah.
That's my big bold prediction. If it doesn't happen, I was just joking, and if it does happen, I'll still say that I was just joking because I'm not gonna. That was a complete joke. But just you wait.
Then why'd you pick up Tebow in both the leagues that we're in? I don't know.
did.
That's all I'm asking.
Well, it was after my news story on Monday where everyone's chanting for him to be the backup running back. Most of those chants were coming from me, and I think I may be able to persuade them to do it.
Well, all right. Well, there's the
Why
plan for
am
this
I-
week.
Why am
Tebow's
I
going to be
acting like a
running the
Tebow
ball.
fan all of a sudden?
All right, and my number 2 bounce back is Phillip Rivers against the Chiefs defense. The Chiefs defense has let everyone do whatever they want to them this year. It's been
yeah.
it's been gross to watch them. They can't stop anything. But
They just let them do whatever. I mean,
yeah.
it's kind
It's
of
dirty.
disgusting. It's like,
It
come
is
on, have
dirty.
some have
It's
some
li-
dignity for yourself.
yeah,
Come on, you're better than that. Don't
yeah,
just
it is.
let them do whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean, hold back a little bit. Play hard
Yeah,
to get.
come on.
But yeah, I think Phillip Rivers is going to have his way with them. I think he's going to go in there. I think he's
Oh,
just
it's
going to
gonna
blow
be-
it up. I
gonna
think
be
he's
dirty.
going to score, and then he's going to score again. That's what he's going to do.
Oh, he's just gonna be scoring all day.
He's going to fit the ball into all the tight holes.
This is gonna be
He's
one
gonna do
sexual
it.
game. I recommend watching it.
All right, yeah, Phillip Rivers is a start this week against the Chiefs defense.
Let's do it.
All right, and then the third bounce back is Gronk. I think Gronk against the Bills defense is going to look good. I think, first off, Gronk only had 2 catches last week for 21 yards against the Ravens. And it's just, this is the first time, and basically, since the Patriots have been the Patriots, that they've been below 500. Like, they're used to winning. And I think right now, they're going to be wanting to get back to winning. So they're going to get back. So Brady's going to be like, how did I do so good last year? Oh, yeah, that huge guy out there that can run just as fast as my receivers. Let's throw it to him.
And catch everything.
Yeah.
And I also watched I watched a trailer for the E60 with Gronk. I wanted to watch it, but I didn't. But my favorite part of it, every time we talk about Gronk, I'm going to talk about porn stars, just so everyone knows. But they asked him, they're like, so what do you feel about all the people that are talking about you in the picture with the porn star? And he's like, actress. Awesome. He stops the guy. She's not a porn star. She's an actress.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Except in the picture that I described in the podcast the other day, she does not have a shirt on. And she has really tight booty shorts. And most actresses don't take pictures on Twitter with their shirts off, but maybe
I think
maybe
you're
they
being
do.
judgmental. I don't know. I think Gronk's spot on. She's a lady. She's an actress. She's a lady actress.
treat her with respect.
All right. Well, yeah, Gronk. If you have Gronk, you're playing him, and I think he's going to have a big game against the Bills. And then number 4 on my bounce backs is Doug Martin against the Redskins D. Martin only had 53 yards on 19 carries against the Cowboys last week, but the Cowboys D has looked really good.
Yeah.
And the Redskins D has already had a couple of big losses on the defensive side of the ball. So I think Martin's a good running back, and I think he's going to go in there, and I think he's going to be in the 3 digits this week with yards. And then
Yeah, he looks really good.
yeah, he's getting the bulk of the carries there, and that's a big thing. Is a lot of guys don't get the bulk of the carries, but he does. So yeah, I think he's going to have a good game.
Play him.
And then number 5 is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has just, for where people have took him in the draft, he is killing your team. I feel like not your team in particular, but
I don't have him.
But if you have him, your team, like it's bad. Like he hasn't looked great, but the Saints defense is the only defense in the league that has looked worse than the Chiefs defense, and that's why the Chiefs won them last week. And I think Bountygate is obviously over because they can't hit at all or tackle. So I think Aaron Rodgers is going to.
They're not getting any money now, so what's the point?
Yeah, really.
I don't see a
yeah,
point.
they're like, I don't want to hit. I ain't getting paid. But the Saints have given up an average of 34 points per game this year, and so yeah, if the Packers are scoring points, it's going to be through Rodgers. That's just how it goes. That's the kind of team they are. So Rodgers is up top 5 quarterback this week.
Yeah, that's why I'm losing my league. That's why
Yeah.
I'm losing this week. I'm playing against him, my awful team.
Oh, that sucks.
I know. Okay, so we'll move over to the starter sit, which I finally named, in case anyone.
Ooh, what'd you
I know
name
there's
it?
been some suspension on that.
Some suspension. Yeah, we nearly suspended you from the show. It's been such a joke.
Oh my gosh, I've got to go home. Suspense.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
There's
That's
the word.
That's the correct word.
That's my boy.
And they're now officially called the put-ins and the takeouts
Oh, how about that?
because you put them in if you're going to play them,
Yeah, you drag your mouse.
Yep,
Put
and
it
you-
over there,
and you
click on
put
it,
'em in.
move it out of there.
and you take them out. And so I didn't want to be like everyone else. I didn't want to be starter sit. I didn't want to do it. And I wanted to be original. I wanted to be different. I wanted to be special. And so I finally did it.
I think you switch it because you like to talk about why you named it the thing
I
you
don't-
named it each podcast for more than you talk about the people in that position.
think
I think
I'm-
you like to talk about the name.
I'm obsessed with the segments, and I don't know what it is. And they're going to constantly change every week. You never know it. But I feel like I should try to keep them the same because I feel like people like consistency and suspension.
They do like suspension.
So for the put 'em ins, my number 1, I'm going to go with the Cardinals defense against Miami. They've already shut down Brady and Vic, which are pretty good feats in themselves. And now they're going against Ryan Tannehill, which I don't think he's quite as good as Brady or Vic. I think it's close. I think it's a close third.
It is close. With how those two have looked this year, I have them on teams, and it's about the same.
But it's all Cardinals defense.
yeah,
That's what I'm getting at right here. Is it is 100% the Cardinals defense, and Tannehill's going to look like he shouldn't even be playing.
So all you
position.
5%ers, take Tannehill out of your starting lineup.
And put the defense in place of that.
Yeah, have the Arizona's defense playing quarterback.
Play quarterback. That's what I would go ahead and do, because I know how to play fantasy football. Number 2, I'm going to go with Peyton Manning. Like we talked about, even against Houston, which is a really good defense, he did come back and score some actual fantasy points. And I think against Oakland, I think he's going to look similar to the way he looked against the Steelers, where I think people will start talking about him again as being that elite quarterback. People will stop making fun of me for having him so high. No one's made fun of me.
I have.
He made fun of me. And people will fall in love with him again all over.
Because he likes topping that.
Because he likes topping off. So funny. I love Peyton Manning. And number 3, Phillip Rivers. Like Sean talked about, he's going against Kansas City, which is not a very good defense. I think Phillip Rivers is going to throw all over him. All over him. And you can start him with confidence. Number 4, and I'm going to go with this one. This one's kind of a little bold, but Torrey Smith tonight. I think you should go ahead and play him. I think against the Browns, and I think after the game that he had on Monday, and I think just after everything that's gone on, I mean, they're looking for him anyway.
Yeah.
And then after all this, I think he's just going to see a lot of targets. I think you can.
They want to get him going there.
Yeah, and he's talented. I'm happy for him. And my number 5.
And also, really quick with Torrey Smith,
Yes.
fun fact again about the Browns. Hayden is still on suspension, and when Hayden hasn't played, the Browns are letting quarterbacks complete 70+% of their passes. So just
I was actually
something to know.
I knew it was really good. I was going to find an actual stat for it, and I didn't end up putting it in. So I'm glad that you found one because I felt like that was missing a stat, and that was the exact stat it was missing.
I did it for you.
That's why we're such a good team here, because I was going to look up a stat for that, but I knew that you would do it anyway.
Yeah,
I knew you'd throw one stat out. So yeah, go ahead and play him. And number 5, I went with another defense, which is kind of weird. The Seahawks defense. They're going against the Rams, and I think that if I was Bradford right now, I think I'd be very sad because I know that Sunday night I'm going to be in a lot of pain because I'm going to get sacked around 10 to 15 times, and my ass is going to be so sore from getting sacked so much. I was not supposed to be sexual, but it kind of started going that way. But I think the Seahawks defense, I think you'll make enough points just off sacks alone that you will score in the double digits. So go ahead and put him in. As far as my takeouts, Kevin Smith is my number 1, which was so brutal. I played him last week in actually both leagues, and I got a fat 0 in both leagues. I won both of them. It was close, but it looks like he's the 3rd string running back in Detroit. I don't know why. I mean, they still haven't mentioned it yet. They actually talked to the coach, and he said, that's just the way the game played out. That's just, how it was. It could be different next time, but I don't
They
know.
wanted LaShore to play.
Yeah,
like
they did.
You can tell.
They did, and a lot of people knew it except for me. So I would go ahead and take him out. He's been dropped a lot, but like I said, they still haven't really officially named him the 3rd string yet, but I don't think you can go ahead and play him. My number 2 is Jay Cutler. Like we've talked about over and over again, the Cowboys defense looks really good.
Yep.
Their corners are just killing it. And any wide receiver that's gone up against him yet has not done anything. So as far as I want to put Brandon Marshall here, because I do have a lot of quarterbacks in this spot, but I don't know why I didn't actually.
I don't know if they do anything.
I still feel like if you have him,
Brandon
yeah.
Marshall, but
he has had a few bad games as well, but I just don't think. I think both of them. I think you can sit Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall, even though I always go with the start your studs thing, so I feel like they should start Brandon Marshall anyway, but
yeah.
don't expect a lot out of him. My number 3 is Cam Newton, which is so depressing because he's pretty much just had these incredible games and these awful games, and this week is going to be another awful one going up against Atlanta's defense.
Which also looks underrated defense.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people didn't say anything about their defense until they made Peyton Manning look like Tannehill out there. Like, he was just...
It's weird. These defenses are just shutting people down.
Yeah, and that's the key to it.
Makes our job easier.
Yeah, it does. But that's the thing that's the key is I know a lot of people, Eli did great last year, but ultimately they did so good. The Giants did so good last year because their defense got healthy at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a good defense to win. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah, and this one, Atlanta has just made every quarterback look awful. And so I'm, stuck with that same decision. Do I start Cam Newton or not? Number 4 is Matt Stafford. Like I talked about with the injury, the bye week coming up, everything else, I think there's a pretty decent chance that he will get sat at some point in the second half of that game. He may come out and do good. It's hard to say. And my number 5 is Sam Bradford. I wasn't going to put another quarterback here. I put a lot of quarterbacks. But like we talked about, going up against Seattle, it's going to look quite brutal. So there it is. My own version of starter sit.
Well done, well done. All right, now we're going to just jump over here. We're going to do one more quick thing before we jump into questions. We're going to do the games of the week. We're going to make our picks. The first game of the week is the Browns at Ravens, which is the game that's tonight. First game with the real refs back. And who do you think's going to win that game, Eric?
I think this is a tough one. I mean, the Browns could do absolutely nothing, and the Ravens could play really, really well.
That doesn't seem tough.
And so because of that, I'm going to have to go Ravens. But with how awful the Browns are going to do, I almost want to double down on the Ravens. What? You want to go Ravens? I'm done. I'm sorry. I stopped.
What about you, Lane?
It's going somewhere good.
Oh, I'm Ravens for the Browns.
Oh, Lane wants...
This is the dumb question.
Oh, so you're Ravens.
The Browns.
Oh, you really are Browns?
No.
Oh. And I'm going to go Ravens, obviously.
That's the thing is you said, you almost didn't want to put this one in. But then...
The Browns have looked better
feel
than
like
people
we
are
have
giving
to.
them credit for. But the Ravens, people are giving them a lot of credit, and I still think they've looked better than what people are giving them credit for. So Ravens are gonna
It's
play
the
well,
Ravens.
and I actually think that they are finding ways to get Torrey Smith the ball, and that's what they wanted to do. They're getting lots of yards. I think they got it.
I think Trent Richardson's going to have a good game, though.
Yeah, the Ravens' defense hasn't been the ultimate shutdown, the run defense that they usually are.
So I'm excited to see this. Yeah, I'm excited to watch Trent Richardson play because I haven't really watched him do a whole lot with red zone. So
alrighty, and then number 2 is the Patriots at the Bills, one of the early games Sunday. I put this on here because it's an in-division rivalry. The Patriots are gonna be looking to do anything to win. Like 1 and 2 is not where they want to be. So and last year was both games were good games.
Yeah.
So I think it should be exciting. And who do you think's gonna win, Lane?
I haven't watched enough football really to know what the Bills are up to this year, but I want to vote for them. I don't know though. That's kind of a guess, but I'll go Bills.
Bills. What do you think, Eric?
I would like to see the Bills win. I think, but I am going to go Patriots on this one.
Patriots. And then
but I hope it is a very offensive game, which I think it will be.
Yeah, here's my thing is I think it is going to be a very offensive game. But I think as well as defense have been doing against Brady and against the whole team, I think it's not this random coincidence. I think Brady's having trouble for whatever reason. I think mostly the offensive line. So I think the Bills are going to upset the Patriots on Sunday.
Nice.
And also Fitzpatrick has looked back to old Fitzpatrick, which could end at any moment. But it's one of those things too. I just feel good about the Bills right now. Like they had a hard time in that first game, but then they've looked a lot better since then. And randomly, Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller could both come back for this game, so they could have a full-on running attack and have their.
That's the thing
attack.
I do worry about is that they'll be so inconsistent with. I don't know.
No running.
Yeah, just because.
But the running, if they can get any kind of running going, Stevie Johnson has caught a touchdown in all their games so far, and that's what we want to see. He is good. If they can get Chandler going, like they have their weapons. And
yeah, they could be a really good team, and I rooted for them last year for pretty much the whole first half of the season until they started to look really bad. But yeah, I think the Patriots' troubles are still going to occur. I think part of it has to do with they've just switched up the way they run the offense. I think bringing in all those wide receivers, I think trying to go with the long ball instead of going to Gronk and Welker like Brady did last year. And I also think, Josh McDaniels came in. I think they have a new offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I think Josh McDaniels is a joke. I think he made the Rams absolutely awful last year. And I think that, I don't think he'll have a job at the end of the year.
Yeah, because he hasn't improved a very productive offense. So
He's not very good.
Like, and that's the thing is he tricked at least me. Like, I thought Brady was going to just have 50 touchdowns because Josh McDaniels is Josh McDaniels. But now we know that it was an illusion that we all had.
I don't think he's very good.
Yeah. All right, and then the third game of the week is the Raiders at the Broncos, which is this Sunday. The second game's on Sunday. And I put this game because it's a division rivalry. Like, Raiders at Broncos is never a not exciting game, even if it's a blowout. Like, a couple years ago it was a blowout, and the Raiders just ran. Like McFadden got 40 fantasy points or something. Like it was just crazy. And then the Tebow games, like last year, I'm a big Raiders guy, and I actually was
I'm
like,
a big Tebow guy.
yeah, I watched it with my wife, and I was like, I thought she was gonna have to calm me down, but then it turned out after the remote got thrown from her that I actually had to calm her down. So it gets intense. Like and I think it'll be an exciting game. It
I do
always
too.
is.
I'm excited for this game a lot.
All right, who do you think's gonna win it, Eric?
I'm gonna have to go with my man Peyton Manning and go with the Broncos.
Broncos, huh?
But I do hope the Raiders do really well.
Well,
I don't think it'll be any sort of blowout.
yeah, I
But I
don't think
think-
so either.
But I do think Peyton Manning will have a really good game, and that's the reason they win.
All righty. Lane?
I'm not a Broncos fan. I do not like them. I want the Raiders to win, but I do think the Broncos will pull this one out.
All righty. So we got two guys going for the Broncos.
I'm sorry.
But I want it's. Am I going for the Broncos? I want the Raiders to win, but I think the Broncos.
Yeah, this
are
isn't
gonna
about
do-
who
what
we
does that
want to
mean?
win. It's who we think is going to win.
I think the
Sean.
Broncos are
Yeah.
going to win, but I want the Raiders to
Uh,
prove me wrong.
So you're picking.
Show me.
Yeah.
I want the Raiders need to show me why I'm not on the screen right now,
Okay.
even though I am now.
Oh,
But
there
now
you
I'm
go.
not.
All right.
I hope they do that.
And I'm going to go with the Raiders on this. And I hate it because I feel like it's a homer pick, but I have to pick the Raiders. They looked way better last week against the Steelers. And McFadden
That's
looks like
the
he's back to
Steelers.
full form. And the Broncos, I think a lot of people are like, yeah, they played two great defenses, but the Raiders defense hasn't looked that bad. And Peyton
Yeah, they really
and I
haven't.
think also
Where are they playing?
they're playing in Mile High. They're playing in Denver.
See, that makes it okay.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is the thing I worry about is the actual refs are back. So I think the Raiders might fall back into getting
Oh,
100
yeah.
penalties a game. But no, but really but for real though, I think the Raiders are better than people give them credit for, and I think Peyton Manning has looked worse than what people are giving him credit for.
I think and hope they can do it.
All right, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders. And let's move on to the Sunday night game, which is the Giants at the Eagles. How do you feel about this game, Eric?
I feel like the Giants are playing every single Monday, Sunday, or Thursday night game.
Oh, it's kind of crazy.
I feel like the Ravens as well. I feel like
Yeah,
there's
the
all these
Ravens.
teams
I have
that
not
just
watched
keep.
the Ravens on a normal scheduled game. Like it's always at night.
But I think I agree with what you said actually about Eli. I think I don't think he's going to have that good of a game. I think the Eagles. I don't know. This is a tough one
It's in Philadelphia. I don't know if that changes anything for you.
because I feel like I want the Eagles to win, but like we talked about, it's not who we want to win; it's who we think is going to win. God, I just really want the Eagles to do well, but I don't. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go the Eagles.
Eagles. All right.
I'm going with who I want to win.
All right. What do you think on this, Lane?
Giants.
Giants. All right, and I am gonna go with the Eagles on this as well, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it off of the pressure card. I think the team loves Vic. I think the fans love Vic, but I think Andy Reid is like, hey Vic, you did great 2 years ago. Get back to that, or you're gonna be watching this rookie come out and play for you, because they asked him in an interview.
And Reed's going to be out of job.
Yeah, and Reid said,
Reed's not going to be here next year if they don't start.
yeah, if they don't start winning. And Reid said, yeah, Vic is the quarterback for right now. So I think he's trying to say to Michael Vick, hey, if you don't step your game up, either you're going to get killed because he's getting hit like crazy, or you're just going to be sitting on the bench. So I think he's going to step up to the
He'll have
occasion.
Macklin back, which is huge.
Yeah,
because I think
Macklin is good.
he is the best receiver on that team, in my opinion.
And the other thing is they need to remember that they have McCoy back there.
yeah, they
McCoy
do.
should be getting the ball way more than he is. They should be running more than they are.
He is my favorite.
And when
running
you have a
back in the
good
league.
running game, it helps any quarterback. It doesn't matter if you're a running quarterback. and a passing quarterback like Vic, or if you're a pocket quarterback, good running game adds to a good passing game. Like that's just how it is. You need to get the ball to McCoy, and you can come out ahead in this game. I think it's going to be like 27-24. Like it's going to be right there at the end. I think it's going to be a tight game, and not, like I said, I think their defense can at least confuse Eli. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles get up 21-0 in the game, and it ends up being that close at the end because Eli at times will take a minute to get going, and then we'll just go crazy. But I think the Eagles will be able to hold them off, so yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Yeah, I just want to see it. I want to see Vic come out and just have that incredible game again where he's just running and throwing and playing and
Doing well
Yep.
for himself. All right, and then we got the last game is the Bears at Cowboys Monday night game. And Lane, what do you think?
I always got to vote the Bears. Aren't the Cowboys doing great, though, or are they not doing great?
their defense looks good.
Both teams look like they're doing better, but both teams aren't doing great.
Both
It's
teams look
weird.
good and both teams look awful.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's
I
pretty
d- I
much
don't
exactly
know.
where this is. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
both teams look great and both teams looks awful.
I don't know, but I like the Bears, and I don't really like the Cowboys, so got to go the Bears.
All right, what do you think, Eric?
That's it. Yeah, I would like to see Cutler have a good game, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Romo's going to have a good game either. I think this game's going to be boring. I think it's just going to be
It
just
could potentially be pretty boring.
yeah. I think the first half nothing's going to happen. It's going to be another one of those where like it's halftime and you're like falling asleep.
Yeah.
But then I think the second half will come out a little bit better. I think the Cowboys are going to win.
The Cowboys. Look at that. All right, and
Only because of that defense, even though the Bears also have a really good defense. And that's why it's going to be kind of a boring game. I think the defenses are just going to shut down the quarterbacks.
all right, and I think that it's going to be the Cowboys too for two reasons. Because because they're playing in Dallas, and two because Romo and their whole offense looked awful at the last game, and so I think I think Romo has a bad game, then he has a good game. I think when his confidence is down, he has a good game. When his confidence is up, he has a bad game. Like he's not consistent like that. So I think he's going to bounce back, and I think they're going to have a good game. All right, let's just jump over to our questions now. Get some
All
of these
right.
answered. All right, I'm going to actually start by doing one that we have on our Justin TV. Where
Check.
we have Tom Brady's bitch back, and he asked
Nice.
us Ridley or Benson. And I don't know. I think I'm leaning towards Benson because they're playing the Saints. Green Bay's playing the Saints there. So, and the Saints have let any position do whatever they want to them. So I think Benson is gonna be able to get some yards. I think they are gonna use Benson to get some play action going to help Rodgers, so he isn't getting sacked so much. Like
I'm going to have to agree with you. I think Benson could have a really good game. As much as they've been giving him the ball, I think this is one opportunity he has to really take those touches and really do something with them. I still don't think he's going to have like these huge breakout because that's not really who he is, but I think he's going to get 5 to 6 yards on most of the times that he gets the ball. And I think because of that, I think he'll end up with around 80 to 90 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, and I also think the Patriots are going to go back to passing it more. I think they're going to go back to what worked for them. I don't think they're going to try to run it as much as they have been. And
I can see
I
that.
don't know. That's a harder one because Belichick switches it up. But I think Benson.
That is a tough one because they're both about the same in my mind. So we got one here on Tumblr earlier that was, and I think this is an easy one, so I don't think we have to really try that hard. D'Angelo Williams or Mikel LaShore? I despise D'Angelo Williams with all my heart. I don't really hate him that much. I don't really know the guy. But
But you hate
as
him
far
with
as
all
a
your
fantasy sense, get him out of here. I think Mikel LaShore is the man. I think he's the guy. I think you can play him with confidence, and D'Angelo Williams will get you a solid 3 sitting on your bench. 3 points.
And D'Angelo Williams.
You won't miss them.
That's the thing is Eric.
You don't need them.
Yeah,
They're
Eric.
3 points. They're not very many. You may get 4. You may get 3 to 4 points, and they're gonna look just fine sitting on your bench. Okay, let's go.
Like how you took over for me there. I quit making that weird sound. You just did both. But that's the thing is Eric made a good but yet weird point with that, with him getting you 3 points on the bench.
That wasn't weird.
He will get, and I've had him on teams before. He will get you 3 points starting every week for 15 weeks. If you finally take him out that 16th week, he is going to get 20 points on your bench. So get him off of your team if you can. Get him just on someone else's bench. Trade him. Do something. Just don't use him.
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess, you make a lot more sense than what I just said, because he won't get you 3 points on your bench. He'll get you 3 points in your starting position. And
because
20 points
Brandy
on your bench.
had him. Didn't play him played him first week, I think. Didn't get anything. Second week, I said, just get him off the team. He's too annoying. Second week, he got a touchdown, ended up getting like 10 points, which isn't great, but it's good with running backs being how they are lately. Like McCoy's barely done anything so far, and he should be doing a lot. Like there's lots of these people.
Yeah, running back position I thought it was going to, because last year I felt like was the year of the brutal running backs, and I thought this year was going to turn around. I thought we'd see a lot of people come out and so far, I mean, even the people that had that potential, like Kevin Smith was one of mine that is now nowhere. Ryan Matthews he's been injured, hasn't really done anything. Jamal Charles finally came out the gate and did something, but it's and then we have all these people like Ridley and Benson and all these people that are like just barely under that second running back spot, and I have almost all of them on my team. Steven Jackson is another one, Fred Jackson, McGahee, Ridley, Benson, all these guys. I don't even know if I can play them.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's hard. Passion. It's real passion there.
Well, you can see, because that's what I'm dealing with this week, and I'm frustrated.
All right, one question I want to get to really quick, so it's about the game tonight, and it is from BizRock, and I believe I got this one on our Reddit page, right? Yeah, I believe it was on Reddit.
Yeah.
And it's he's asking who he should start in his flex position. It's non-PPR, and he put Torrey Smith or Mikael LaShore.
It's a lot of LaShore questions.
Yeah, and that's because LaShore came out and he did well last week with what
and
he
now
was
everyone's
given.
wondering, do I play him? Can I trust it? And
yeah, and on this, I got to go with Torrey Smith. It looks like he's the guy they want to be their main receiver, and for the Ravens these days. And LaShore is playing Minnesota, which has a pretty decent run defense, and also just Torrey Smith looked great last game, and I think he's gonna keep going up. And I also think LaShore's going up, but I don't think he's gonna be at full form for a couple more weeks. So yeah, you got to go with Torrey Smith on that one.
I agree. I think they both could do really well, though. It's another one of those that the Andre Brown, Jamal
could
Charles,
definitely
where
both get
they could both
10 plus
It's not
points.
a bad choice.
Yeah.
Here's another one for tonight's game: Romo versus the Bears or Flacco versus the Browns. I said to go with Flacco. Like I said when we were talking about the games, I don't think Romo's going to have a very good game. I think he's not going to look very good, and I think Flacco is going to have one of those games.
That stat I told you guys about Hayden, like not being in there, how many passes they let you complete. Like Flacco's going to look good.
He's going to have another one of those where you like, he's really not elite, but he could be, and then you look at him and you say, oh, he should be elite, and then after the game you're like, Flacco elite? Flacco ain't elite. That's what everyone's going to be saying. I don't know what it is.
To hear that a lot.
Flacco will never be elite. I don't know why. He will never be that elite quarterback.
It's because he's not elite.
Going to happen. He's not. But he's going to have one of those games tonight. He's going to have one where people question it.
Yeah, it's it's one of those things. He will still probably be the best quarterback the Ravens have had, but
Ever?
because the Ravens have never been a quarterback team. Sorry, Dilfer. But I was never once impressed with you in your whole career. But
I like him as an announcer, though.
yeah, he's exciting. He's really hard on quarterbacks, but he's also that guy that I don't think I've ever heard him talk about how great he was. So I do respect that he knows he wasn't great. But
this is always good when you can own up to it.
All right, let's get to another question here. All right, another question from Tumblr. We have Mr. Leo Riches, and he said Jermichael Finley or Kyle Rudolph. And on this, I said you got to go with Kyle Rudolph. Green Bay has a ton of weapons there, and Finley is just going to be competing for catches. Rudolph doesn't necessarily have that same problem in Minnesota. And also, tight ends are a young quarterback's best friend. Like, it's nice to have that big target you can throw to when you're running out of the pocket. And that seems to be what Ponder's thinking about doing. And also, Finley, I didn't actually put this when I answered the question, but Finley is Finley. When you need a big catch, he really needs a big drop. So that's kind of his thing.
I don't know why.
That's the thing is I remember last preseason, not this preseason, but last, they accidentally did something and threw 2 passes to him, and he just was like, well, I'll just catch both, but with one hand. And you hear things like that, and then you see him dropping the simplest catches. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I thought he was going to be amazing. Like, at the start of last season, I was like, Finley, and then he just hasn't been great. And I don't think he's going to get great. I think they have too many usable people.
That's what I think is a lot of it. Is there's just too many weapons there. And you look at a team like the Vikings that they really only have Percy Harvin and
Adrian
Rudolph.
Peterson and Rudolph.
But then I don't know. Simpson is coming back after his 3-game suspension this week.
But I think that just helps everyone.
Will give one more target.
He's a deep guy. Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off, but
no.
Yeah, he just he goes deep a lot, so I think he just helps all of them out, especially Rudolph.
Which we have had some questions on him as well. We've had a lot of people be like, "Should I keep him?" And it's like, well, he's finally back, and he's not coming back from an injury, which is always my thing. A guy coming back from an injury is always a little hesitant. A guy coming back from a suspension
is just a football player.
He's just. I like that. So yeah, if you have we have a question. I don't know if I can find it now, but I actually did have a question about. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's right here. We'll go ahead and move on to that one. Bell, Stewart, or Powell. Pick one to start, and then what are your thoughts on Jerome Simpson? Is he worth a flex spot this year or on my bench? And I said Powell has a hard matchup. He's going against the 49ers, and it's still not 100% sure if he's going to play instead of Sean Green. It's still kind of iffy on that starting spot. He may be the starter soon, so I would definitely keep him, especially if you're in like a deeper league, which it looks like you are. He could be the starter. And then as far as Bell, I still am not 100% sure on Kevin Smith. Like I said, I don't know if they're getting rid of him or if he's the third or if he's the second or if he's going to start. Like, they haven't really said. And so out of those, I would go with Stewart. He's coming back. The Falcons have a really good defense, but they really honestly haven't been that good against the run. I looked them up. I think they're like the 28th defense against the run, which is kind of crazy.
That is really crazy.
Yeah, I didn't think that was real. But I'm not a huge fan of any of the Carolina running backs, but I think Stewart is by far and above the best out of all of them. And if it's a flex spot, no, maybe it's just a running back spot, I would still play him. And as far as Simpson, yeah, I would keep him. Like we said, he's coming back from his 3-game suspension, and I think he could be a really good flex position, and maybe even, I mean, that second wide receiver is always a good. They do really well.
Yeah.
So if Percy Harvin will be the number 1. I feel like he's the number 2, right?
Yeah,
Unless
so
I'm
I think a lot
missing
of people will
someone.
be focusing on Percy. He'll be the number 2 now that he's back.
He was giving me a look like, are you an idiot? And I'm like,
No.
shit, I got it wrong again.
No, you're right. Like, and that's the thing is, like I said, he will go deep. He'll stretch the field. Having 2, and he did well in Cincinnati last year. Having 2 guys there is going to help everyone in Minnesota. So yeah, I think it's good.
All right, 6:30. Do you have any other questions, or should we
All right,
wrap it up?
I think we can go ahead and wrap it up. All right, it looks like we had another solid Thursday episode, so we're gonna keep them coming. If you have any questions for us, we're on literally anything social media wise.
Just type in Fantasy Top 5,
and you can find us.
You should be able to find us.
Even on Google now, we're not the top, but we're like the 7th one.
Yeah, type it into Google. We're like 6th or 7th. Yeah.
So if you
putting us in
look for us, you can
podcast
find
apps,
us. Yeah.
and we're in those as well. So
Yeah.
we're in iTunes. Subscribe to the podcast. If you're just listening to it, go find us. We need more subscribers.
So if you follow us on Twitter, like I said earlier, if you got a problem, I'll solve it. So come back.
I did like that.
Yeah, come back. Check us out next Monday, next Thursday, hour before the games, every Monday night and every Thursday night. You guys are great. Keep sending us the questions. They've all been good. A lot of them came really close to stumping us this week. You got anything else, Eric?
Even with my ESPN.
Yeah, even with Eric's
I
ESPN.
promise I won't use this joke again. It was awful.
It's already old at this point.
It is. It's been used up.
All right, well, everyone, have fun watching the Browns win the Ravens or something like that. All right.
Peace.
Bye. Peace out.